Hey guys, this is Jonathan McCormack. I'm an attachment specialist in New York, and you can find me over at attachmenthealinghelp.com. So this is I think it's the sixth in the series. We were going over Leslie Becker-Phelps' books, Insecure in Love. You don't gotta say these in any kind of order, but this is going to be about developing self-awareness for self-love. I'll go over her chapter, and then I'll give you a pretty special meditation by developing kind of that self-awareness and self-love. So we all know that with attachment-related anxiety, it can feel like a matter of survival. So if you try to reduce this anxiety, people do, you will resist. Your body will say, why are you trying to reduce this anxiety? This anxiety is what's keeping you alive. This is about survival. So, and this is true even if you want to consciously do that. The key, believe it or not, is self-compassion. It's actually self-compassion. These wounded parts will come, and you need to love them. You need to have compassion. See it like a beloved friend. Treat yourself like a friend. And believe it, this actually changes the emotions. When you resist the emotions, they get stuck. When you view them at least neutrally, they can cycle through, you know. There's a poem that I like that just came out. It's called December 11th, 1916. And the reason I kind of like this is because it has to do with love and just the way that when people go through things, they're not able to process it because they don't have someone to process it with. This is Raquel Meany's December 11th, 2016. A friend has just left her girlfriend. Each time there is the beginning, she said, where I am best, where I'm always sure. And then there's the future, where anything good is possible. The trouble, she said, is with everything in between. I once thought all I ever wanted was the trouble. To shovel the ice from the doorstep, so that the beloved might not slip. To argue with the beloved about whose books belong on the shelves, then build them a bookcase with my hands. I've learned so many useful skills in the service of desire. Today, longing for you feels like pressing a foot into untouched snow. It contorts the face as weeping does, or an idea suddenly arrived. It lives on the page where I know it will find you. Where my friend awakens, there is no snow. Can you imagine it? She must step into her grief in a world full of sun. It's a bit of an ambivalent poem, but the reason I like it is because she has to deal with all this grief all on her own. Oftentimes we do. And if we do, we will not process that grief if we treat ourselves badly. You have to create an environment full of positivity and compassion. That means for yourself as well. The first thing you want to do if you have attachment problems is realize your ambivalence. Just admit it. In any romantic relationship, you're ambivalent. You're ambivalent about whether you really want to open up and make yourself vulnerable, you know? And also how you do this, you know? You can talk to your partner about this, but, she gives kind of an example of a guy, and he has to talk to his wife about being emotionally distant. Well, he goes to do it, but, an avoidant, they always feel threatened. So, of course, how he comes out is going to be completely hostile. Oh, we might as well never be married, Oh, you're no use to me. Well, that just creates more distance. Well, he was activated. He wasn't calm. He wasn't looking at this from a neutral perspective. To him, this distancing, he hated it. Like, I hate this. Keep me away from people. You know, he didn't welcome it. He didn't befriend it. He didn't view it neutrally. So when it came up, he was forcing himself against it. And the key is, and she says this is nurturing awareness of emotions. Most people can't identify their emotions. Most people do not understand the difference between thoughts and emotions. And most people can't differentiate emotions, you know? I mean, it's incredible, but, you know, people say this is love. I vaguely know what they mean. There's so many types of love. There's so many colors. What do they really mean? But in their mind, it's all lumped together, love, you know? And that's true for anything. When I do, especially with avoidance, they're so disincarnated that, you know, I say, oh, what does it feel like? Well, usually they'll give me some intellectual thing, like, well, it feels like I can never do X, Y, and Z. That's not a feeling. But even when they get to the feeling, it's the most vague thing. Good. Not good. You know, good. That's not a feeling either. And then they get eventually to something like love. But even then, you have to go deeper. Now, this is what people get tripped on, is when you're learning emotional literacy, it's tough. You don't want to go too deep into emotions. You really don't. I know they say like deep in it, dive into it, because you'll get overwhelmed. You'll get overwhelmed. So you have to be conscious of your emotions and just touch upon them. Know when to close them off. I know for an avoidant, you're always closed off. Believe me, if you can get in touch with some of the panic, anxiety, it can overwhelm, you know. So you want to have the ability to open up to your emotions and be able to close yourself off. What will happen is if you don't, and this happens a lot, you start to feel these negative emotions, oh Lord, and you just wallow in them. You know, so you go, all of a sudden someone will feel hopeless. Great. That's a great emotion to feel. But instead of like allowing it, feeling it just a little bit, processing a little at the time, no, they'll feel this, and instead of processing, they'll just sink deeper and deeper into depressive hole because they're acting towards it in a self-pitying manner. They're certainly not looking at it neutrally. They're certainly not trying to befriend it. And also, if you don't know your emotions, your thoughts will be warped. For instance, you know, you might perceive yourself as having no value to anyone. And I hate to say it, but that might be true. And people don't understand the pain of going through the world where, boy, you look around, you really don't matter much to anyone. And maybe you have some schlep job that really not that valuable, you know. Well, if that's the case, if you want to be accurate, you would say, if I said, how do you feel? And you go, I feel I have no value. That's a concept. That's a judgment. Remember, in mindfulness, no judgments. We're going to be neutral. What you're feeling is worthless or pathetic. You know? The best you'll probably get from someone with attachment issues is sad. How do you feel? Sad. You know? But that's really different. I mean, sad is just... so you can... There's different practices, and she gives some. You know, if you want, you can write all this down. You know, you can sit down, and it's helpful. Imagine a situation, something that happened. You know, like husband called, wasn't going to be home for dinner. Just sit with that. Remember it. You can do this as a meditation. And then notice the sensations. That's the first thing you do. So what does it feel in your body? Your shoulders, you know? Does it, do you, in your stomach, does it tighten, you know? And then what's your behavior? Maybe slam the phone down, yell at the kid. I don't know. Grab a pint of ice cream. And then what are the thoughts? You know? Like, what did I do wrong? Why does he want to be with me? I don't know. And then we get to the emotions at the end. And what are you feeling? Well, probably frustrated and angry. Afraid that you'll be left. And so I do the ideal parent figure protocol. That's an attachment modality where you kind of imagine ideal parents, and then picture yourself getting raised by them, getting all these developmental needs met. I'll sit there, or even if I'm doing parts work, I'm like, okay, get into it. What is the sensation? And sometimes they can get it, but then you see the sensations lead to these emotions, and you notice the thoughts around the sensation, especially if you can find your body. Where does that live? And then, this is wise, this is a mentalization. You're connecting all those things, how they all go together. How when you feel this way, boy, you start thinking this way, and you start behaving this way, and you didn't notice, You didn't know why you're so upset. The same thing, when someone says, how's that relationship? They go, loving. What does that mean? Tell me what loving is. Is it affectionate? Are you fond for the person? Do you have a longing and yearning for them? This loving, is it like an adoring? Everyone wants to be adored. Is it just lustful? Would you describe this relationship as enchanted, infatuated, passionate? Those are actually feelings, And the biggest thing you're going to cultivate is curiosity. People with attachment problems are just not curious. They just don't care, especially with avoidant people, Half the time, they don't even know why I'm asking these questions. What do you mean, what do I feel? And if they get in touch with it, why would they share it with me? They're not used to sharing things. They know what they feel. That's enough. But this is part of mentalizing, and you want to be curious. People with attachment problems are not very curious. When you get into self-energy, that's being curious and compassionate. You want to know. You want to know. You want to know your partner. Why are they acting that way? Seriously, why are they acting that way? Just curious. No judgment. Same with yourself. Why am I feeling this way? Why am I having these thoughts? I know you think you know, but you get curious about these things. And the next step is to befriend these emotions. I know it sounds crazy, but think of loneliness. Loneliness is one of the worst poverties in this world, and it utterly crushes people. You probably hate it, but just pay attention to it. Look at least neutrally, because watch, you'll see. Get to know it, and then wonder, curious, why is it doing that? Perhaps, I don't know, but perhaps it's actually trying to get you to meet new people. Perhaps it's actually trying to motivate you. You might not like it, but at least it's actually trying to help you. Instead of seeing like, I hate this thing, it's my enemy. Oh, this is my friend. He might not know how to comfort me well, but your relationship, and then once you see that, you start negotiating with that. You treat your feelings almost as if they're beloved friends, because these are signals. Your loneliness is trying to tell you something for your benefit, You have to know, are your emotions helping you to understand a situation? Are your emotions a warning that there's a problem you need to attend to? Do your emotions help you to connect to others? Or does this emotion isolate you? And again, Leslie Becker-Phelps has sheets in her book, Insecure in Love, and you can get them, and you can, write down the date, the situation, the thoughts, the effects of the thoughts, And so you do that, right? And then you look at attachment people, they're always certain. You ever go to the insane asylums? Those people are completely certain they're not crazy, completely certain their own opinions, completely certain. That's tough, because you can't challenge it. And if you think that way, you can't challenge yourself. So you go through these things, and you have these thoughts, you're feeling anxiety. And you feel your man or your girl is going to leave you. They're going to leave me. They're going to leave me. Jealousy. You start acting possessively. Look for disconfirming evidence. I know this is, I'm giving these little tips, and probably you just won't do this. Who the hell is going to sit down and actually do this? I've done some of this. So probably you want to get a therapist. Probably want to do parts work or ideal parent, But for what's worth, it's a pretty damn good book. And if you sit down and do these exercises, it can help. So sit down, at least even think, what evidence is there that he might be happy with me instead of going to leave me? Think, did he text me today? Did she say I love you? Did they do something? Look for other evidence that this is about expanding your mind because you think this way. Look for evidence for the exact opposite. You might not find it, but you're practicing opening your mind to a wider perspective. The other thing you can do, it sounds so cheesy, is think, if my best friend were in this situation, what would I be thinking? If she came to me and goes, I think so-and-so is going to leave me because X, Y, and Z, would you sit there and be like, oh, that sounds right? Or would you actually say, no, I think you're actually very anxious, and I think, you're reading into those things. In other words, you're trying to look at yourself from one, an objective standpoint, two, a loving standpoint, And this is what mentalizing is, thinking about thinking. And you want to do this specifically to gain certain insights. You want to understand the cause of the distress. You want to understand how the impact of your family of origin is having on this relationship. Does this remind you of something when you were a kid? How you're feeling and acting now? The impact of your relationship from all that. Like, is this something being impacted from something way back then? I see the smoke, but maybe it's coming from a fire 20 years ago. And you recognize the obstacles to a more intimate relationship, Now, I'm saying this, but again, when you're overwhelmed with emotions, you can't sit here and calmly, if you think, my Lord, my lover, my love is leaving me, you're not going to sit there and calmly look at the situation. That's why you have to deal with activations, and I believe giving yourself emotionally corrective experiences, your most love, and any kind of therapy, that's experiential. But you could do this if you really sit down. There's like 4 steps. If you really want to, you could sit there and think about a situation, interaction, whatever's happening. Checking your body, how you feeling about it, like this happened. Identify your emotions. You might realize some things about yourself. And then consider possible explanations, that are opposite of what you think. Just see how true does that sound, Here's the thing. People oftentimes hate themselves. They're filled with self-disgust. And they won't be compassionate to themselves. They're like, no, that's wrong. I'm not going to treat myself like a beloved friend. Me, I don't deserve it. But here's what you need to realize. If you don't do for yourself, and hopefully eventually you will, you treating yourself with compassion is actually the best thing for your partner and the world. Because when you view yourself self-compassionately, you'll view things more objectively, more loving. When you're not doing that, when you're hating yourself, you'll probably become more self-critical and also distrustful of your partner. So if you want this relationship to work out, that's not what you want. You don't want to be cultivating negative emotions and feelings, You want to cultivate a self-awareness on a more positive course to develop self-compassion. Think about it. When you're agitated and angry, other people feel that, But if you're calm and compassionate, you can actually just go out food shopping, look the register girl in the eye and kind of say, hey, just be very friendly. You'll notice people who need help. People around you will be more calm and focused. So even if you hate yourself and you're like, I'm not going to self-compassion, you being happy and being okay is actually the best for other people, best for your partner, best for the relationship, best for the world. At the highest intention, what's best for the world is what's best for you. You can start there. By the way, the psychologist Barbara Fredrickson is the one who did all this stuff on positive emotions. The positive emotions actually help you generate attachment-related security. So that's one of the things she found, you know. So it's best for the world if you practice self-compassion. The other thing is she recommends is common humanity. You know, one of the most painful emotions someone can feel is being disconnected from the world. There's them and there's me. I remember someone telling me that they went to see their prom. They didn't get invited. They didn't have a date. But they went behind the building to buy, they're like 16, 17, to buy weed or something. I don't know, get a liquor, I don't know. And they just kind of poked their head up. And they're looking through the glass. And this is a guy, and he saw all the beautiful girls. And they looked like unicorns to him. It was like, I have a fantasy novel. How can this exist? And they looked and saw all the guys laughing together, joking around. Yep. And then there was a glass pane in front of him and all that. And what's so painful is not just being alone, but then seeing exactly what you need inches away. If you could just reach out and touch it. It's a particular type of torment that only certain people have experienced. So part of this being kindness to yourself is recognize that you're part of common humanity. I quote all these people like Kafka and whoever because because that's part of what people experience. They have these attachment issues. You're not alone. Some people suffer and they isolate themselves. Why am I suffering? It's just me. But this suffering, this problem with attachment problems, this loneliness, whatever you're going through, is actually a way to connect to others. You're in a brotherhood. You're in a brotherhood of suffering, but it's a brotherhood, a sisterhood, whatever. I mean, you're connected to the rest of humanity from your suffering. And to feel like more you're part of common humanity, what she recommends in Secure in Love, the book, is to include kind acts, daily. Just be very generous in everything, any opportunity, any instance to help a neighbor or help someone. But be conscious, and I'm telling you, once you're conscious, you set this intention. If you want, do it now. My intention is to do one act of kindness tomorrow. Get up, say it again before I go to bed. An opportunity, I'm telling you, within like a week or two, will present itself, and then again and again. And you can also schedule activities. You can do volunteer stuff. I know, but if you're one of these people like super lonely, man, volunteer at the hospital or the animal place. Well, I've done it, you know. It gets you out of the house. You're around animals. You can actually meet someone, but you just feel like you're part of something, you know. Yeah. And I know that people have a hard time doing this because it's like, oh, this helps me and I have no value. It'll be part of our meditation, but I mean, it's like go to a hospital and just look at all the kids, the babies, and be like, oh, so which one has no value? Which one is not precious? Wait, but what they do? Nothing. It's just their essence. It's just, therefore they're valuable. They are valuable. It doesn't keep going. And that's you. You know, you're that infant who is full of value still inside. And you can find that. And at least be compassionate to that small child inside you. The problem, mindfulness is great. The problem is a lot of times we'll fight these feelings instead of befriending them and at least trying to look at it objectively. And for instance, you know, be like, I'm going to stop getting upset. And then you get upset. And then you get angry about getting upset. In this process, you're going to mess up a lot. You're going to go a step backwards. And you're going to say, I promise not to freak out. And then you're going to freak out and text them 1,000,000 times. You're going to promise to really listen. And then you're just going to be so damn tired. And then you're going to hate yourself afterwards. You're like, God damn, I can't believe I did that again. I did the exact same thing. going to have to treat all those thoughts. And this is what mindfulness and meditation will do. And when I'm with people, like feel that feeling and just slow down. Abide in this feeling. And notice you can abide in it. You can be with it. That kind of defangs it. So for instance, you might discover that your partner doesn't talk to you coming home. What does that mean? Well, obviously that you're unlovable. Right? But if you slow down and do, just as I say, is there another possibility? Mentalization, is there another? You might discover your partner avoids talking to you because he feels that you just vent anger at him. Not because he doesn't care. He would actually love to talk to you. And you'd be like, what? Anger? Yeah, you come over and it sounds like you get really angry. You might not be, but that's how he's perceiving it. Or you might be. The point is, it wasn't something you were thinking of. You didn't think of that. And how are you going to do that? Embodied. As soon as you start feeling an activation, anchor yourself in your breath. Bring your awareness to your body. Identify your emotions. One of the best things you can do, which I've done, is a gratitude journal. Not forever, just do it for 2 weeks. Me, I did it for 90 days. That's what I'd recommend. But just in your little journal, just things that you're hopeful for. Positive things that you notice. You want to train your mind instead of looking at all the negative. Everyone does this. I don't care how secure you are. You're always looking for the negative. You want to train yourself to look at the positive, and that'll help the relationship, So here's a meditation. It's more or less based on Robin Shapiro. I took some workshops with her, and she's great and does a lot of work with trauma. Easy Ego States is a wonderfully simple book. But this meditation is about loving your inner child and cultivating love. And if you want, I would just invite you to get into the meditative posture with your back straight but loose, shoulders back and down, and your feet firmly planted on the ground. Let's start with 3 deep breaths. Super deep breath. Hold it below the belly and slowly release. Good. And another super deep breath. Hold it below the belly and slowly release. Good. Third one, super deep breath. Hold it below the belly and slowly release. Great. And now I would just invite you to do a body scan. And you can just focus your awareness on your forehead. And just notice your forehead. And then you can move your awareness down around your eyes, softening the muscles of the eyes, moving down around the cheeks, softening the cheeks, down, moving into your jaw, softening all the muscles of the jaw. And now a wave of warm, loving awareness moves down your neck, pours into your shoulders, warmth moving down your back, down your torso, all the way down, down. Loosen the belly, loosen the hips, a wave of warmth rolling down your legs, down your calves, all the way down to your feet, firmly planted on the ground, like roots of a tree. Good. And now, we're going to take a trip back many years, float back, float back, float back. There's a child who was born in a hospital. This child's in a little crib with your name on it. Go ahead and see that child in the crib with your name on it. Notice the hospital. There's all those other babies wrapped in cloth. In the background, there are some hospital noises, but it's just you there. And you hear a beeping in the background, some machine. And you go over to the little baby. You go and you pick that child up. And you bring the child to yourself. Do you have that child? Look into the eyes of that little one. Notice the eyes. Feel the weight in your hands. Listen. Can you hear the breathing as its little chest rises and falls? And notice while you're doing that, this child is seeing you, feeling your strong grown hands holding onto its body, hearing your voice, knowing that this child has your attention. Take a moment. What's it like holding that infant you? What are you feeling? What are your thoughts? Yeah. And now it's time to admire this child, this infant that is you. See this child's perfect toes and fingers, an adorable baby face. Notice that sweet, round baby body. And look at the intelligence behind those eyes. Perhaps you notice the child noticing you, adoring him or her. And you let this adoring feeling go back and forth. You're adoring the babe. The baby is adoring you. And this economy of love is circling back and forth like a golden loop, a light that transfers warmth, you to the child to you. Connected, feeling the same warmth. Yes. And notice how little and fragile this child is, and that this child is full of needs. He needs milk, warmth, diaper changes, company, cuddles, and constant attention. Yes, they have all those needs. And now look at that baby. Look at the face that is yours. Look at that child. And you say to that child, no matter what you need, you're perfect. You're lovable, even if you wake me up at 3 a.m. You're lovable, even if you pee in my face. You're a perfectly fine baby, worthy of my love and attention. even if you wake me up at 3 a.m. You're a perfectly fine baby, worthy of my love and attention, no matter what you feel, no matter what you need. And you embody that love for everything about this child. Can you feel that? Are you feeling that in your body? And you know unconditional love isn't easy. And perhaps this child didn't get much of it. But this child definitely needs it now. And you see the whole child, the intelligence, the needs, the crying, the adorableness. And if you can hold all of that in this babe, you can tolerate all of yourself. All these needs and crying, but also adorableness, also intelligence. Can you hold this babe and love all of it? Can you love all of it? If so, you can tolerate all of yourself. You can give that compassion to all the dark corners of your heart. Even the unworthy ones, despite being unworthy. Just feel that child. Look at that child. Let that child know you're there. Yeah. Does this child see you? Is the child settling down because he or she knows you're there? See the whole baby now. The smart parts and the cute parts and the messy parts and the needy parts. It's all or nothing. Can you love this child? And you're thinking, can I love this child? Just take a moment with that. Can you love this child? You can say yes or no. And just notice how that yes or no feels in your body. Go ahead. Can you love this child? Notice your thoughts, how your body feels when you think, can I love this child? All of it. And now, things are going to speed up a little bit. It's time. You notice it's time to grow this child up. And you take this babe through every year of your life. Every year pouring on the love and attention that this child so desperately needed in that year. And because the imagination can create new possibilities, we can do this at lightning speed. Are you ready? Take that babe to the first year of your life. See yourself picking up the lonely baby. See yourself feeding this child when he's hungry. You see yourself connecting with him or her when they're unhappy. Good. Now, the second year, you see yourself, and this child wants endless games of peekaboo. You see lots of play, a lot of dirty diapers changed, and then rocking this child when they're sad. Good. Now the third year, he's learning no. He or she is yelling no, and they can really yell. And you admire that. And you also see the neediness underneath it. Yeah. And now we're going to go very quick. Age 4, 5, 6, when you were 10, when you were an adolescent. Picture yourself in junior high, but with all this love and affection, with all these needs being met. And then you see yourself in high school. But it's you with this love and affection and support. And then you see yourself as a young person, and then older, and then all the way up till today. And you see yourself in the as you are now. Yeah, look at yourself, and you see yourself. You see yourself, and you can allow yourself to see all your insecurities, all your fears, all the ways you're messed up, all the ways you've messed up, all your regrets, all your pain. You see it all. Can you see yourself? Can you see all of you? Imagine seeing like a twin. It's you though. You're seeing yourself in your mind's eye. You're seeing her as you are now. Imagine. Put your hands on your shoulders. And you look at that person who is you, right in the eye. And you give this person who is you all your acceptance and loving attention right as you are now. Can you do that? How do you feel? Imagine embracing yourself, looking yourself in the eye, and just pouring love and acceptance out on yourself. I wonder, can you tell yourself you're good enough, even with all those flaws? Can you tell yourself that? Can you tell yourself that you're lovable anyway, even with that, even with all those reasons? Can you say that? Go ahead, try. Yeah. And can you tell that grown up who holds all your ages, from being an infant right up to right this second? Can you tell him or her, I love you? I wonder if you're ready to open your arms wide and hug all of you, all those ages inside you. I wonder if you are. If so, go ahead and do that. Hug yourself. See yourself hugging all those children, all those wounded children. And love is going to all those children. And you see an orange, bright light radiating from your heart, moving through your circulatory system. And it is bringing love to every cell, warmth to every organ, even up to your mind. Now the orange light swirling, and every wounded part is being surrounded by love, and love is pulsing. Perhaps you feel that in your body, this warmth, this goodness spreading, and you feel it, and you just allow yourself to soak it in. Yeah. And you soak it in. And you hold all those wounded parts, and you just press them into your chest, right into your heart. Yeah, what does that feel like? What are you feeling? It's my intention that you're feeling loved. If no one else has told you today, I love you, even though I don't even know you, because we share the same humanity. And when you're ready, taking your time for all these shifts to have occurred and to keep occurring in the future, you can come back slowly back and open your eyes. And now you're present and here. I hope that you guys dug that. My name's Jonathan McCormack. You can find me over at attachmenthealinghelp.com. Any questions, comments, or requests, let me know.